Here on a beautiful November night in Providence, Rhode Island, the early season portion of the schedule continues. And at the building affectionately known as the Dunk, the Providence Friars host the Warriors of Merrimack. Hi, everyone. Alongside Andy Katz, Scott Graham, glad to be here with you. And Andy, if you're a Providence fan, in reality, you're going to be seeing your whole team for the first time tonight.
Yeah, great news for the Friars. Nate Watson, their best big, maybe the best big in the Big East, has been cleared to play tonight. Ed Cooley's going to play him probably a few minutes into this game. He's been out this entire season with a knee injury, but they're going against a team, Merrimack College, just started Division I, which pulled off one of the upsets early in the season just 2 weeks ago by beating Northwestern. Oh, by the way, the team that beat Providence last week in Evanston.
And that point was made by the head coach at shoot-around today as he talked to his team about this one. The guy to watch for Merrimack, Javaris Hayes. He is a do-it-all player, the senior from Paterson, New Jersey. A.J. Reeves sat with a back injury last time, and Alpha Diallo is playing a little bit under the weather tonight. Both of them going to give it a go out of the gate. As far as Watson is concerned, we expect to see him at some point in the first half.
Yeah, they're going to monitor his minutes. Probably going to come in around that 15-minute mark, at least after that first media timeout. As for Alpha Diallo, under the weather, as you said, he's got a little bit, or had a little bit of a fever earlier today, and I talked to him just when he was warming up. He says, look, I'm going to try to give it a go.
Providence in the home white controls, and away we go. Merrimack is going to show a lot of zone tonight. And Providence worked on that all afternoon in the shoot-around. Ball knocked out of bounds on the rebound by Duke. It goes back the other way. Ed Cooley now in his 9th season as the head coach. 257 wins. They've had a run of NCAA tournament play, but last year it was the NIT.
And Scott, we were both at shoot-around this afternoon, and Ed made sure that his guys understand that this Merrimack College team, while they might be smaller, while they're clearly going to zone them, they've won already a game against a team, as I said at the top, that beat Providence, so they have their attention.
The backdoor cut, the first 2 points of the game belong to Javaris Hayes. They were talking about that in shoot-around as well. They're going to try to get him a lot of different looks in a lot of different spots on the floor.
Yeah, had Merrimack stayed at the D2 level for this season, pretty consensus among Merrimack College that he would be the National Player of the Year in Division II.
Up on top, no good for Pitkins, and rebound controlled by the Warriors. You would expect a big rebounding advantage in this game for Providence. They come in leading the opposition by almost 9 rebounds per game, and Merrimack gets out-rebounded by about 6.
But Joe Gallo, the head coach of Merrimack College, told me, look, I'm not worried defensively. It's offensively. How do we get the ball inside against this team?
In that case, not inside, but way outside, and Ward missing on the 3. As is the tradition, Providence fans standing until the home team's first made bucket. And Diallo gets it taken away. On the run out, scramble for the loose ball, and Duke wanted it more down on the ground. Oh, loose again. Bring on the Dancing Bears. Trying to settle everything down.
Providence's best offense this season has been off of turnovers, but they still have to manage and take care of the basketball.
Just over 2 minutes in. The pick and roll wasn't really there, but a late whistle. And a foul call is going to come on Khalif Young. Joe Gallo, the head coach for Merrimack, in charge with shepherding this team from Division II and the Division II NCAA tournament last year, in fact, the last 3 years, to Division I now. And this is the other thing. You've got a group of kids that you're talking to and convincing to play hard, and they are playing hard, they're playing well. They know that their season ends at the end of the regular season. They not only can't participate in the NCAA tournament, they can't participate in the NEC tournament.
True, but according to Joe, this was what he told me. He told me that they can play if they win the NEC regular season title in the NIT, because that's if that team, you know, wins the regular season, doesn't get the AQ, the NIT awards it. And he said they could go to the CBI or CIT. That might be wishful thinking here. Obviously, after getting a Big Ten win, maybe they're thinking that a little bit. But Joe Gallo, a grad of Merrimack College back in '04, so he's invested in this program. I'll tell you, we just showed him. He did have a jacket when he walked out here. It quickly went off.
That's gone. Going back the other way. Providence trying to get off the schneid, and they do from down along the baseline. David Duke with his first two, and everybody here at the dunk can take a seat.
He had his best game of the season. Last game against St. Peter's, 17 in 34 minutes, which was huge because A.J. Reeves was out with the back injury.
Long range, no good. Pipkins, one of the smallest guys on the floor with the rebound. Reeves lost the handle. And Diallo bounced it on the end line. It's going back the other way on another Providence turnover.
Scott, you're from Philly. You know, of course, practice is important. Maybe not to everyone. But A.J. Reeves has not practiced the last 4 days prior to today's shoot-around. So there may be a little bit of rust in terms of timing.
As we said, he had been bothered by a back problem. They weren't really sure necessarily that he was going to go until they got over to the arena here tonight. Shot clock down under 10. Watkins into the lane, but he traveled.
Yeah, Providence is going to finally take a day off tomorrow. You're going to take 1 day off a week, but it's been a grind because they went last week to Northwestern, lose that game, getting back at close to 4 in the morning, practicing the next 2 days, playing St. Peter's, and then prepping for this game.
Inside, there's what they were looking to do all night. Get good position and sit down right in the post. They got a foul call on the rebound, and the foul is going to go on Hayes going over the back.
So Khalif Young has struggled offensively so far this season. This will be interesting because he's been a placeholder for Nate Watson. And if he cannot produce as much offensively, his minutes certainly are going to decline once Watson is in there a little bit more full.
Long range won't fall for Duke. Offense kind of hard to come by here in these opening 4 minutes. That was a pass-up of what might have been an easy reverse layup by Lord. Now the cut, and an easier two for Watkins. Cross-court passing, cross-lane passing. Back the other way, Duke on the run, a little bit out of control, and now Merrimack comes back the other way.
Well, Gallo calls Watkins kind of his Marcus Smart. That's the kind of player that he is, sort of good off the dribble, good defender. But the size could be an issue, jumping up from D2 to D1.
4-point lead in the ball for the Warriors. That's just an air-mailed pass as he tried to get it inside to Hayes.
Mikey Watkins, you know, size, he's working it to his advantage here. Right inside for the layup.
Win.
Devin Jensen had 7 threes in that game against the Wildcats. Chris Collins telling me, look, we just weren't ready. First game jitters. He's got a lot of young guys, and the zone really flustered them, and that's what Merrimack College is hanging its hat on as it transitions to Division I. They're a member of the Northeast Conference. That's the NEC, another Rhode Island team in that league, Bryant. Joe Gallo telling me that they were kind of surprised that the NEC put them in with a full slate of regular season games here in year one. As you mentioned, 4 years they got to go through transition before they can play in the NCAA tournament.
That's good anticipation by Jaleel Lord to create the turnover, but Providence takes it right back again. Malik White checking in the game at the timeout, and Watson is indeed in the game, making himself big inside. On the drive to the hoop, Diallo is fouled. He'll go to the free throw line.
See the brace on his right knee. That's what's been keeping him out. Played this summer on the Pan Am Games team coached by Ed Cooley, Alpha Diallo, David Duke also on that team, A.J. Reeves, Juan Pimpkins, who was hurt, didn't participate. But Watson is a wide body, a physical specimen, and Ed Cooley firmly believes that he could be the best big man in the Big East once he's healthy.
6'10", 250 out of Arlington, Virginia. Averaged 11.5 points and over 5 rebounds a game last year as a sophomore. As Diallo rattles home the second and gets Providence back to within 2.
And this is perfect, Scott, because they were hoping to get him in at least 1 game before they go out to the Wooden Legacy. Now looks like they'll get 2 because they play Penn on Saturday.
Quaker team that has already showed their chops early in the season.
Yeah, upsetting Alabama.
Merrimack's going to be deliberate. They're going to run through what they're trying to get done. And ultimately, They are a team that can hit those shots. Idris Joyner, who's only 1 for 7 from three-point range on the year, extends the lead to 5.
And at 6'5", he's considered sort of their undersized 5-man. Look at him banging against Watson.
You got to imagine that's going to wear on him during the course of the night, but right there, uncontested for the rebound. And Merrimack in control here in the early going. Long range, three-pointer won't sit. Can't take too many like that at the rebounding disadvantage you've got.
When you're making the transition from D2 to D1, you usually can find the guards and the shooters. It's the bigs that come later.
And one of the other questions is if you're a team that is not going to be able to go to the NCAA tournament until 2024, that's not an easy recruiting sell. By the way, come here and play, but you can't play in the big dance.
Well, but they are in a one-bid league in the NEC, and you can, I think, sell those other tournaments, and you can win a regular season title. UMass Lowell in the America East just transitioned. They just actually beat Lowell, a nearby school. Bryant also had to go through that in the NEC.
Early signs pretty encouraging for the Warriors so far. On the inside, Watson just bullying his way toward the hoop, but can't get it to sit.
Yeah, this is going to be a timing issue for Nate Watson. Has not been in any kind of competition this entire preseason and into the season. Didn't play in their scrimmage against Purdue in October.
4 points in 6.5 minutes, nearly 7 minutes is not what Ed Cooley was hoping for as a start to this game. And on the run, the deficit just got bigger. Ziggy Reed, freshman out of Baltimore, forcing his way inside.
This is a Merrimack College team, Scott. It's got a lot of confidence, and why shouldn't they? They went into a Big Ten arena and beat Northwestern handily, really, by 10. A team that beat this team that they're playing today.
And a good drive to the hoop by the freshman. On the other side, you got a Providence team that right now just can't throw the ball in the ocean. They're 1 for their first 8 from the floor.
It was kind of fool's gold when they scored over 100 against Sacred Heart to open the season.
That's a good open look, and even that one won't go. Watson can't hold on to the rebound. Historically, when you're playing a team that you should potentially beat handily, worst thing you can do is let them hang around. That's all of a sudden it gets to NCAA tournament type stuff where teams start believing in themselves, and that's why we see the madness we do. 8-0 run now for Merrimack.
And that was Jordan McCoy, who Gallo's saying he thinks he's the best shooter on this team, and he just delivers a 3.
Ice cold shooting for Providence to start the game. Look at this. 3 won't go. And right back the other way come the Friars. Ball movement against the zone. Watson blocked from behind, but that's going to earn him a trip to the free throw line.
So Merrimack College is going to defend the same way the entire game. I mean, Joe Gallo was telling me he thinks they've played really a handful of possessions over the last couple of years. Maybe he said maybe 22 of not this 2-3 zone. He says if you're familiar with Syracuse and Washington, obviously Washington now because of Mike Hopkins from the Syracuse zone under Jim Boeheim, that's what we play, extend the wings. And Providence knew it. They knew that's what they're going to face here. No secret.
And they worked on what they were going to do offensively in the half court against that during the course of the weekend and shoot around today as Ziggy Reed sets with his second personal. Watson, 0 for 2 from the line. There's a lid on the rim down at that end right now.
Having Reed get 2 fouls from Merrimack could be an issue. They're not as deep.
Jordan Minor is checked in for him. Minor at 6'8", more slight of build and way over the top of the rim with that shot. Duke, that's a heck of a catch. Pretty play. David Duke, being an athlete, getting out on the run and breaking that run. He's got 4.
Well, he can be their best scorer.
Looked like some contact, no call, and now Providence bringing it quickly back the other way.
Yeah, they just swarmed him on that one.
And that ball, I believe, was blocked, but we also saw contact. And there's going to be a Trip to the free throw line. Merrimack not backing down.
Not at all. Idris Joyner, step back for the three. Merrimack College came to play.
Ed Cooley's team has come out shooting cold, but that last time out, he was focusing on defense as we take you inside the huddle.
You can't let them be methodical. Okay, we missed some shots, but we need to make sure we get some good shots. If you're open, shoot it. Try to get it to the nail. See the ducking guy, all right? Now, hey, their 5 men could step out and shoot, so you got to be ready to guard them.
Lot to cover, and it's all going to look a lot better if you're not shooting the way they're shooting it right now.
Well, Ed Cooley at least is being very composed right now. It's obviously not looking good offensively. 2 for 11. They're 0 for 4 on threes. They've not been a good three-point shooting team for the last couple of games. You know, clearly Merrimack has his team's attention. Cooley wants to make sure that they are paying attention. But this is how Merrimack has won some games already this season. And remember, early this afternoon, Ed said this. Teams are not taking them seriously. Oh, it's a D2 team. We can beat them. Well, you give a team like this hope, and you know this from covering the NCAA tournament, those lower-seeded teams, they feel like they got a chance, and suddenly you're in trouble.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. There's some backcourt pressure, and that forced Hayes into a corner and a called timeout. Back to the drawing board for Merrimack now, as they're going to have to figure out a way to break the Providence press. With trapping pressure. You're going to see this tonight. There's no doubt about it. Right back into that corner once again. Difficulty and a steal. If they can't hang on to the ball, it's going back the other way.
There's no reason to panic. I mean, Providence's defense is going to basically get them back into this game. That's who they are. But on the flip side, they have to stay under control.
And this time, Hayes breaks the pressure. And they'll be methodical, as Ed Cooley was talking about, inside their offense. He'd like to get this thing percolating along a little bit quicker. Turn it into more of an aggressive, athletic, and running game. That's pretty athletic right there.
You know, that was an example right there where he was able to go right down the middle. Khalif Young turned his back. He could have stepped in.
Down the other way, and last touch Providence, and it's going back to the other end.
Okay, watch this, Scott, where Hayes comes in. And Khalif Young, if you can see him on the left side, not even paying attention, turned it too late, and suddenly he's got a chance to go against Jimmy Nichols. Nichols steps in too late, and he gets the bucket. They were more effective when they were swarming in a couple possessions ago.
Here comes that backcourt pressure with Hayes on the bench. Even tougher now for the Warriors to try to break it. Another near steal.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see this the rest of the first half, them in this sort of frenetic pace, because they're going to have to create their own energy here. No offense to the fans here, it's just not, it's not conducive right now to sort of feeding off the crowd.
Now, this is not like the home game against Villanova that's coming up sometime later this year when the place is going to be on its ear.
Right.
Michael Daring now into the ball game with Hayes sitting down for Merrimack. Jordan Minor in among the trees. Can't hit it on the turnaround. Once again, moving quickly, and once again, great anticipation. 4-on-2 for the Warriors. How about this? A 10-point lead once again, under the 10-minute mark.
Well, they got quick guards. They can obviously beat Providence off the dribble, at least so far. They're taking advantage of it.
On the drive down the lane. Won't work, and you've got a foul call going back the other way. It's going to be on Providence. And a foul call on Jimmy Nichols.
You know, right now, offensively, it just feels like Providence is searching for someone to take this game over. And Merrimack's take advantage, scoring off of a turnover. And, you know, over the weekend when they played St. Peter's, Ed Cooley wanted David Duke to be the guy, take over the game. He's going to need someone to do that right now.
How about that? Biggest lead now for Merrimack, and Ed Cooley has seen enough. He calls a timeout with his team stuck by 12. Straight down the lane with the drive for Jaleel Lord. Merrimack in control. Run for the Warriors, helped in part by the fact that Providence has won for their last 10 from the floor. And 2 for 13 for the game.
You know, Scott, Alpha Diallo, not 100%. We know that from this afternoon. We can already tell he's not being as assertive. We'll see if he can fight off whatever illness he's battling right now to, at least in this possession, take more control. He's an all Big East performer.
And deep in the corner, that one won't go, and the tip rebound controlled by Jaleel Lord.
So they settled for the jump shot instead of attacking that zone. Nate Watson back in the game. He took a little bit of a breather. Chris Monroe also in, replacing Khalif Young. And then Emmett Holt, who can be, provide a lot of energy coming off the bench. So they've got the right guys on the floor right now.
Long range, and Lord can't hit the three. Once again trying to run, and once again a blue jersey gets in the way. This time it's going to be over the back on Jordan Minor on that entry pass. He'll pick up the personal, his second.
You get the feeling that they sort of need to establish Nate Watson inside. Slow it down. Yes, you're down 12, but this game's got a lot of possessions left. But Nate Watson clearly has the size advantage, even though he hasn't played. Establish him.
And they try to do just that. He's fouled, count it, and a chance at a three-point play for Watson.
All right, so from my mouth to the court, right?
Very well done.
Off the inbounds play, he's got the advantage over Devin Jensen. Why not?
That's 2 now on Hayes, 2 on Ziggy Reed, 2 on Jordan Minor. Well, the fouls adding up here in this first half for Merrimack. And Watson, who missed his first 2 from the line, misses that one as well. 10-point lead in the basketball for the Warriors of Merrimack.
Well, Scott, I can tell you one thing I did see in all these practices the last week. Nate Watson was shooting free throws. He was able to do that. Wasn't able to really get up and down, but he was shooting free throws.
Another backdoor cut and another wide open look. Devin Jensen finding the cutter. And it's back up to a 12-point game again.
You can tell the frustration of Ed Cooley because they went over cuts like that during shoot-around. It is not translating here to the game.
Skip pass and then right through the 5-hole. Diallo, though, with the ball, has it poked away. His pocket's picked. And that is 7 turnovers now for Providence.
They cannot find the seams in that zone. Great hands from the quicker, albeit shorter, Merrimack College players.
I can see what you're talking about with the Syracuse zone and how that's played. Where Syracuse has a lot more size and length, but Merrimack is doing it well. In this case, they turn it over on a travel. It'll go back over again to Providence. But Merrimack not only not backing down, right now they are dominating here at the dunk. Merrimack has hit 50% of their shots here in the first 12-plus minutes. They've got a 12-point lead over Providence. One of the reasons that Ed Cooley has been frustrated is that the Warriors are getting inside. 14-4 advantage in the paint. The other reason for the frustration is his team has had now 22 possessions, 3 made field goals. And you and I were talking away at the break. There have not been a lot of those 22 possessions that have looked like Providence has been under control.
Not at all. I mean, I think we may be generous by saying 2 or 3. And size clearly doesn't matter on this floor in terms of in the front court because Merrimack has one player over 6'5", and that's Jordan Minor. And they're essentially dominating the paint.
There's your inside position, and the left-handed shot is good for Watson. You get the impression that if he gets his feet underneath him, he could do that all night long.
Look, they may try to manage his minutes tonight, but to win this game, they may need him to be out there longer.
Providence backs out of the full court pressure. Mikey Watkins, sophomore from Roselle, New Jersey, another good ball handler. Has a kick ball, but before it was kicked, foul call comes on David Duke, his first.
You know, to your point, Scott, about patience offensively, this is a great example on this possession. They waited till Nate Watson established post presence, got it into him in the middle of the zone, and he scored. Hey, how easy was that? How about going back to that?
Well, once again, patience is a very good word for what that possession was. Shot clock down to 10 now. And Merrimack has seemed completely under control whether the shots are falling or not.
All right, feed Watson.
There it is. Like I said, that's something they can do probably all night. He's got 6.
He can dominate this game. Question is his stamina. How long can he stay out there?
And if you're Merrimack's zone defense, you can't really front him very well, and you can't stop him from catching the ball inside. He can just stop himself, but you're going to get a foul call. So the missed dunk doesn't seem to matter as much as Ziggy Reed picked up his 3rd.
He got bailed out a little on the foul because he missed the dunk, but look at that. Establishing his post presence. He can do that all day on Joyner. He knows it. They know it. And look at that. He gets behind the zone for what should have been the easy dunk, but at least he got fouled. Although he struggled at the free throw line.
That he has. 0 for 3 so far from the stripe tonight. Now make it 4. So Reed with 3 fouls. His first half is almost certainly over.
And this is where depth will become an issue, certainly for Merrimack. One of their better players.
Khalif Crawford.
Been out with an ankle injury.
Still not ready to come back. A guy who started every game for them last year. Tipped rebound belongs to Providence, and the putback is there and good for Emmett Holt.
I have a good feeling that those inside the paint numbers are going to change.
I think a lot of numbers are about to change. Once again, swarming in the backcourt, and Pipkins a chance at a 3-point play.
The wake-up call has come. Providence now down 4, possibly 3. Reed in the passing lane. Pipkins with the foul, the chance for the N1.
Pipkins, a grad transfer from UMass. Providence is just happy to get him and not have to play him. Last 3 years, he's put up 20, 30, and 26 points against Providence, and UMass won 2 of those games.
And after struggling on the 3-point line, there's another steal.
There it comes. Patience, right?
Yes. Well, Ed Cooley's told Luan, he told me, he said, look, brought you here to run this team. And I think less 3-point shooting for him coming up.
Once again, Emmett Holt, although he is not necessarily the size of Watson, has plenty of size to spare on the inside. We got a 1-point game.
And an 11-0 run by the Friars.
Might have traveled, and yeah, there's a late whistle. He did. 8th turnover for Merrimack, and right now, Joe Gallo's got to feel like the roof is caving in a little bit.
Another good sign for the Friars, bench decorum. They looked a little sullen, a little withdrawn earlier in this game. Now the veteran guys are standing up, cheering on their teammates who are out on the floor.
Let's see, where do you think the ball's going to go on this possession? Right to the middle of the zone. And a foul call on the rebound is going to go against Merrimack.
You know, this is a good opportunity for Khalif Young. With Watson out, clearly now reestablishing himself. Now it's Khalif Young's turn. Get the ball inside and convert. That's how he's going to continue to get minutes. Gets to the free throw line in this instance and see if he can convert.
10 points and 4 boards in the opener against Sacred Heart. And he rattles that one home. So you got yourself a tie game after Providence trailed in this one by 12. And the lead for the Friars.
Now the test will be, how does Merrimack College handle some adversity?
13-0 run, took just a little bit more than 2 minutes.
And they got a lot of foul trouble, too.
That's going to be a problem for the second half, you would assume. Defense getting a little bit more aggressive. Hayes has been quiet offensively for the last several minutes. Good ball movement to find the open shooter. Shot won't fall, and you got a foul on the rebound on Jordan Minor. That's going to be his second.
Emmett Holt just taking the contact as he leaped for that rebound. Luckily landed okay.
Check that. That's 3 now on Minor. 3 on Reed. Fouls are really piling up on this Warriors team.
And we've said this, at least I have, because I've done a lot of their games, but Emmett Holt, one of the best stories in college basketball this season. No one thought he would play again. Life-threatening intestinal surgery. Was in the hospital for 6 weeks. Lost almost 60 pounds. Providence College doing an outstanding job staying by his side. Last season came back, tried to play, but just fatigue-wise, just couldn't go. And then he came back, and now he's about 90%. And really has been an inspiration to this team, and you know, just phenomenal to see him back on the floor.
And a guy who at one time was a finalist for Mr. Basketball in the state of New York. Back in his high school days. 2-point game, Providence on top. By the way, you have done a lot of these games. I thought it was interesting that they were measuring you for a uniform when we got the shoot around today.
The run ends tonight, though.
Jump stop and nothing there. Long range, rattling that shot home. Mikey Watkins to break the run. He's got 5.
So a really strong possession for Merrimack. Obviously it went in for him, but to break the streak.
That's a brick for Pipkins, but a tap back and a fresh 20.
See, now Providence here, Scott, cannot get trigger happy shooting too quickly.
They got it inside, which is where you want to get it, to the middle of that zone. Emmett Holt gives the lead back to the Friars.
Well, they were lucky on that offensive rebound because Pipkins' shot was not what they want, but Holt's was. I mean, it's clear what's working on offense.
White down with a rebound. Merrimack is cooled off tremendously offensively. Providence still not hot, but their best looks have come from inside the lane. In rhythm, a 3. There it is. Devin Jensen, who had those 7 threes at Northwestern, nails his first of the night tonight. And a 2-point lead again for Merrimack.
Well, Joey Gallo was saying he couldn't believe how wide open he was against Northwestern. And in that transition 3, he was just in stride. Went right up.
Pipkins got it. On the feed from Duke, he just sat back, caught and shot. He's got 6.
Timely 3 by Pipkins. He's really been struggling. Shooting well below 30% on threes heading into this game.
Coming up on 2.5 minutes left to go in what has been a pretty entertaining first half. And the steal. Pipkins gliding in.
Points off turnovers. That's going to be the mantra for this Providence team.
Well, they have been very good at it over the course of their first 4 games. And once again here tonight. As a team, they're averaging, forcing 21 turnovers. A foul along the inside is going to bring us to a timeout.
Lon Pipkins brought here from UMass to make things happen. Maybe not a great shooter, but he's a timely 3-point shooter. And the Friars back up on top with a deuce to go.
Cats, what has sparked this 21-6 run in the last 5 minutes?
Well, it's been their great defense. You know, Merrimack with that inbounds play just got off balance and reading the passing lane, Lon Pipkins. And then in this instance, driving him to the sideline, another turnover, and they almost lost the ball themselves. And then at the other end, getting the ball inside, whether it's on transition or in the half court, and Pipkins again, picking the pocket, and then finishing at the other end.
They've hit 8 of their last 12 shots. Pipkins has been a big spark plug after a 3 for 15 start where they kind of looked like they were running in quicksand early on. Actually, that's not even the best characterization because they were making mistakes and hurting themselves with every offensive possession. They've settled that down by making their defense convert over to offense.
Yeah, tons of unforced errors that you could point for Providence. And here's the deal. I mean, no offense to Merrimack College, but they're lucky that they're sort of committing these mistakes against Merrimack, and we're not in the Big East. They're not against Florida and Brooklyn right now, even though they're struggling. They're out in the Wooden Legacy, or even next Saturday against Penn. They've got to clean it up, and they cannot dig these holes early like they did against Northwestern and this game against Merrimack.
Idris Joyner hits on his first. Senior out of Plainfield, New Jersey. And a group of 3, along with Hayes and Lord, who played championship team for St. Anthony's in New Jersey. Legendary Bob Hurley.
But not a lot of losing with those guys. Won a lot of games.
Tell you what, you can always spot a Bob Hurley St. Anthony player out on the floor in terms of the way they play defense, the way they carry themselves.
Winners.
Yep.
Look how far out they're extending the zone.
It should open up the middle of that floor, that middle of that lane. They're being patient. Clock winding down now. Shot clock at 5. Deep ball. White can't hit it. Duke's got the rebound and the putback.
That's where the advantage, the athleticism, the size, shifts to Providence on the second shot.
David Duke has 6. Providence say, you know what, you want to zone us tonight? They can show you a different look.
Well, they have to mix it up a little.
Shot clock is down to 3. Step it in, leaving it short. There's your putback high off the glass, no good. And frustration for Jordan McCoy inside.
That would have been a killer for Providence to allow that second shot.
That's a great job of getting inside to get a hand in the passing lane. And to boot, the foul call was going to go against Nate Watson.
He almost just bounced off of Nate Watson. Looking inside to Watson.
Yeah, he did bounce off of Nate Watson.
Yes. Like running into a quick wall. You may feel that tomorrow. Ooh, another poke.
And they're going to get a 10-second violation. They had not broken the strike.
I mean, this is where Providence, really can have an advantage when they get to the Big East, when they have Malik White and Luwan Pipkins at the top of their pressure. Both quick hands, and can convert at the other end.
Providence team that was picked to finish the season 4th, or tied for 4th in the coach's preseason poll in the Big East. But the way these things play out over the course of the year, talking about this over the course of the first few weeks, it is going to be a very interesting and liquid Big East during the year this year. Blocking foul down inside at the 34-7 mark. When you start looking at the teams that, Villanova is always going to be there. Seton Hall is picked by many to be the team to beat this year, but I'm feeling with a couple of the younger players that are maturing, a couple of teams that are finding themselves, February is going to be a wild race in the Big East.
Well, there's no bad team this year. It's very much like the Big 12. There's going to be no gimmies. I mean, there's been years past where DePaul has been like that. They're undefeated so far with the addition of Charlie Moore, the transfer from Kansas. Paul Reed's having a great start to his season. St. John's under new head coach Mike Anderson. They're playing a new style. Even though they got upset by Vermont, they've been playing very well.
Lead expands to 4.
Diallo trying to go today, despite not feeling well.
He hasn't been much of a factor on the offensive side at all in this game. 2 points in his first half.
I think Ed Cooley would love for this game to get out of hand so that he wouldn't have to play Diallo. Although Diallo's game, he wants to be out there.
5-point lead for Providence is their largest of the night.
Who had that at 34 seconds?
They trailed by as many as 12 twice in this half. Merrimack struggling on the floor. That's a wide open look, and that's a made three for Jordan McCoy.
Well, that's exactly the kind of look that they're going to get when Providence is pressuring them like that. It's going to have to be a little chaotic, but they got to nail it, and they did.
Holding for the last shot here in the half. Up on top, Pipkins got it from way downtown. And a heave at the buzzer is no good.
Well, that's what a grad transfer should do. Bury the shot when you need some sort of momentum going into the half.
So that's the end of the first half with our score. Providence 38, Merrimack 33. We'll be back with all the highlights of the first half right after this. Lawan Pipkins was the energy guy at the end of that first half as Providence took a 5-point lead into the locker room at halftime.
Well, that's what he was brought in for from UMass. As you mentioned, scored very well against Providence in all the games against the Friars, but it was to make timely shots, and that's exactly what he did by hitting those 2 threes toward the end. Look at this comparison.
Wow.
Taylor, 2 halves within the first half.
And it happened right at about the 10-minute mark. A zone defensive look for Providence to begin the second half, and a miss. Transition opportunity for the Friars. Take note, Diallo is not starting the second half.
That's right. I was just noticing that he is not out there. We'll see how much he plays here in the second half. Was not feeling well all day today.
On the inside, won't fall. Little tip drill, and smallest guy in it walks out with the basketball. That's Hayes. Great no-look pass.
I mean, that's the kind of defense that got Merrimack the big lead early.
Not a good job by Pipkins, who's settling things down here.
You know, it's interesting, Scott. That's interesting. But Emmett Holt tends to be sort of that energy off the bench and provide that spark. But now that he's starting the second half, who will provide that here off the bench?
That's a good question. Well, it could very well be Nate Watson if and when he comes back into the ball game.
Or maybe the roles reverse. Maybe it'll be Diallo. Providence going to a zone here.
Yeah, that seemed to confound Merrimack a little bit at the end of the first half when they went to that look. That missed everything over the top.
Well, Merrimack seemed like when they were getting their threes, their shots just real quick in transition, that's when they were more effective.
Told you about what Javaris Hayes could do. It's a lot of that.
No-look pass, reverse layup. Devin Jensen, he can shoot threes. Can't defend that, though.
Or that.
Get out of the way.
They're starting to flex their muscle inside now. 9 points for Emmett Holt. And more pressing defense. You joined us late. That's a big part of what Providence used to get back in the game. Was backcourt pressure and getting the ball inside in the offensive end.
Great passing.
And it worked. Jensen came free along the baseline. Wow. That was a heck of a play by Hayes, but he couldn't quite stay in bounds.
And here's the last possession by Providence off the inbounds. Emmett Holt just flying in over the top.
We watched them work on that play. How many times did shoot around?
Oh, yeah, because they knew it would be there. Devin Jensen's not going to come over on the help side to do anything on that. He doesn't want to be on a poster.
There's a steal.
Lazy pass.
Probably should have given up the rock. Rockets had the bounce pass for Hayes, didn't throw it. And back the other way, Duke makes him pay. Flying above the rim. That's a technical foul.
Yeah, no, they're good technical. Ed Cooley just went ballistic on that call.
Well, the question is, was Duke trying to stop himself from falling on top of somebody? as he grabbed onto the rim.
Let's take a look.
No.
Maybe a better angle from here. Looks like there might have been a little extra flex. Let's see. Okay, right there.
And once again, it was not a player who was trying to prevent a collision or an injury to another player by hanging there.
Let's see if we can roll it through and see what he does here after. It might have been that left-handed slap on the backboard. That might have pushed it over the edge.
While he was still holding onto the rim with his right hand.
Look, whether we like it or not, whether it takes the fun out of the game, it is still technically a rule.
Technically, no pun intended.
Yes. And look, if coaches don't like it, change it. You have that power. Every other year you can change the rules. There's a committee for that.
Pipkins poked it free. White chance at a three-point play. He got hit from behind on his way to the basket. And now 3 minutes in, Providence threatening to make the lead double digits.
Another poke. Providence has done a good job of that with Pipkins and Malik White. Both guards, really good finishers. Able to absorb that contact. They're like a couple of fullbacks up at the top of that perimeter.
So White, senior out of Richmond. That won't fall. Lots of hustle, but Young couldn't save it.
Just cannot give away the free points. I mean, in the first half, I get it. Nate Watson had not been playing. He was missing some free throws. But you need your guards who are going to take the contact and get to the free throw line. They've got to convert.
There is no doubt, though, that Providence sitting on their largest lead right now. Wow. Duke is saying, wait a minute, what did I do? Evan Burrows is pretty sure he committed a foul.
Let's watch it again. Ooh. You know, someone behind us just screamed he tripped. And
they're right.
Okay. All right, there was contact in the back. Whether or not it was enough to push him down to the ground, you could debate that, but he did actually touch him. But you know, had he not touched him, I think he might have fallen anyway.
It looked like it. He lost his balance, Yep. What I was saying before it was that Providence, with their largest lead right now, feels like they are starting to get full control of this game. No matter whether or not they can continue to expand the lead and take advantage of the points that are there. Rebound with authority for Young.
It's tempting for Providence to jack it up, but they should be patient here. See if Khalif Young can establish post presence. Or Emmett Holt.
They got two bigs there, sitting in the high post. And from cross court, White drains the three. Double-digit lead for the first time tonight for the Friars.
You know, they were working on that exact play this afternoon, where the two bigs come up, they cross, and they were hoping that if the ball did go into the post, it would kick back out because of the collapse defense to an open shooter.
Merrimack has not had answers for this zone. That's the answer of how to beat a zone. You can shoot over the top of it. And in that case, Daring did.
Well, they consider him the best shooter on the team.
Despite the fact that he was 4 for 23 from three-point range coming in.
But he had a couple of timely shots against Lowell and Jacksonville.
On the turnaround. That's going to be 3 shots coming for Providence.
A.J. Reeves going to draw the foul and get to the line when we come back. But before that, with the finish and authority, flying through Emmett Holt, Khalif Young. They're all high flying, but you get a T if you slap the backboard. That's a no, but they're up 9. They'll take it.
5 of your first 6 shots to begin the half, and you're sitting on top of a 9-point lead now.
Well, Providence looked like they were going to be a little bit more on their heels at the start of the second half, but they've now recovered and reset. And how about Miles Powell? 37 points in that lost to Michigan State, which was by far the best game of last week in college basketball. He right now is a first-team All-American, potential National Player of the Year. And Romeo Weems, freshman of the week for DePaul. Paul Reed having an outstanding start for the Blue Demons. And look, these standings are not upside down. Villanova 10, DePaul 1. What is happening? Dogs and cats playing away. What's going on here?
I'll tell you what, DePaul has gotten off to an amazing start to the season, including a win on the road at Iowa. Butler and Xavier also unblemished records. Georgetown's 3-1. They had to bounce back against Georgia State, but that has been a team, the Georgetown team has been one that's just been mercurial this year by halves or by segments of the game. And Ed Cooley trying to figure out a way for his team to find some consistency to fit into this mix.
Yeah, and by the way, to be fair, Villanova's one loss is at Ohio State, a Big Ten title contender, even though they lost by 25. Marquette lost at Wisconsin, and Seton Hall lost to the preseason #1 in Michigan State. So, gotta look at least peel back the records just a little.
So far, so good.
Yes. Hey, DePaul can feel confident. They got some momentum. They survived Dave Lato's 3-game suspension to start the season, and they're still undefeated.
Reeves missing on the first. In the 6-year iteration as it stands right now of these 10 teams in the Big East, conference has averaged more than 5 teams per year in the NCAA tournament field. It's pretty good.
Well, I can tell you right now, I think all 10, I know it's early, but I think they feel like they have a chance for some form of postseason. That doesn't always happen. You know, even in November. You know, either rebuilding, retooling, whatever.
I don't think there's any team right now that doesn't think they're going to be playing past the end of that Big East tournament.
No, they all feel like they've got a shot.
Cloud is just 11 for 20 from the free throw line. Came into the game at 69% for the year so far. Something else that's got to be cleaned up in the early going.
Oh, wow.
All right. So
let's move on from the standings. We're 2 weeks into November.
Right.
Let's do my power rankings.
So you're saying the standings are lying, but
Yes.
your power rankings are not.
This is where I see the league as we sit right now. This is a snapshot in time. So no offense to Paul, but it's who you beat. Okay? I have Seton Hall 1, Villanova 2, based on talent on the floor, what they've done, who they've played. As I said, you should get credit to some degree that you've had a tough schedule so far, and Seton Hall, Villanova certainly did. You know, Creighton got blitzed by Michigan. St. John's just lost to Vermont. Marquette did lose to Wisconsin. You know, to me with the Friars, I didn't really know where to put them right now with that loss to Northwestern. But they haven't been healthy. That's been an issue with them. No Nate Watson. We see him for the first time tonight. We see what kind of difference he can make.
Ed Cooley said it to us as soon as we saw him today. He said, yeah, I'd just like to see if we get everybody on the floor. Watson is on the floor for the first time this season tonight. And looking good.
Keep feeding the post. And, you know, you mentioned, Scott, about them not having everyone on the floor. And we want to send our condolences to the Gant family, Greg Gant, an outstanding freshman for Providence. He's at home back in North Carolina. The death of his mother, Tawana Baldwin, happened over the weekend, actually during the game on Saturday. So he is back in North Carolina, undetermined when he'll be able to rejoin the team.
Off the tip. Back the other way. Duke has it knocked free, and Hayes can't believe that foul is called on him.
And to that point about games that have been missed so far, Nate Watson missed the first 4. We're seeing him. Greg Gant, as I told you, he is back home in North Carolina. A.J. Reeves did not play against St. Peter's because of a back injury. He's on the floor right now, not 100%. Alpha Diallo was sick earlier today, and he's not 100% playing today as well.
Watson just fighting his way inside, and Jordan Minor just got hit for that foul. And that is his 4th.
Depth an issue for Merrimack if they're going to cut into this 12-point deficit and stay in this game. I mean, Joey Gallo really only plays essentially 8 guys, I mean, sometimes 9.
Watson can't believe he's now 0 for 6 from the free throw line. We were sitting right under the basket where he was shooting free throws at the end of practice today. He was shooting them well.
Well, he's going to get fouled a lot, so that's going to have to be something that he improves on.
13-point edge now for the Friars. Just over 13 and a half left to play. Warriors trying to figure out a way to find an offensive answer. That might be part of it as they get an opportunity to go to the free throw line.
And check the way Nate Watson reacts when he actually finally converts one. Thank you. The rest of his game has come back strong.
Now to make some noise with Jordan Minor. He'll get another try playing with 4. He'll come out if he makes this second one. A Pipkins checking back in for Providence, and Malik White takes a seat.
Those 2 threes for Pipkins has to do wonders for his confidence from the three-point line. He was 6 of 25 heading into this game.
Wasn't shy about shooting it. They need him to do that. Or as the great Bob McAdoo once said, shoot if you must, I must.
22 assists, only 4 turnovers, so that's where he's really helping this team so far. Transfer from UMass.
Rattling it home, and there's just no answer for Watson inside for the Merrimack defense. And that's going to be a reach-in on Reeves in the backcourt, who was trying to force a 5-second call.
And Hayes went down. Let's see if we can catch it right here. Well, this is the play for Watson, spinning. There's no way that Jordan Minor can defend that.
11 points on 5 out of 6 from the floor in his debut here. Trapping pressure, and it's going back the other way. And a technical foul is now called on Mikey Watkins.
Well, that's exactly what Merrimack cannot do. Down 14, they'd played so well for really 2/3 of this game so far. A little bit of frustration by Mikey Watkins.
Mikey wanted a foul call. Now, head coach trying to talk him down a little bit.
Just a sophomore. He's going to be an anchor over the next couple of years for this Merrimack College team. Really done a great job in transitioning from D2 to D1. Not an easy task, as they will join the NEC this season as a full member in all sports except for football. With a full slate of games, they can win the regular season. Just cannot represent the NEC in the NCAA tournament for the next 4 seasons, but they can go. If they were to win the regular season, they could represent the NEC and the NIT.
Talking with a couple other people before the game, it's already taken an effect in other sports. I think they had their women's soccer team that won the regular season inside the NEC, and that's it.
Well, it's great for the league to get a team in the Boston area, 20 miles north of Boston and Andover, right near the New Hampshire border. NEC, very spread out league, but...
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Pipkins to Watson, who went up the elevator, and now, yet again, the roof has officially caved in on Merrimack. They're stuck 20.
Well, that's exactly how Providence can take control of this game, use their size to an advantage, score off of turnovers, keep that pressure on. They've got to play the full 40 because they didn't really show up the first 10.
Wow. Well, they've shown up now, and they are sitting on top of a 20-point edge on an 8-0 scoring run that took just 34 seconds.
What a lift it is to have Nate Watson know that he can play once again at this level. They got Penn coming in, the team that already upset Alabama on the road, and then next week in the Wooden Legacy tournament, really, where they should end up being in the final against Arizona. They're the 2 best teams in that tournament out in Anaheim.
Pipkins knocked it away. There was some contact, no call, and now another steal. Pipkins in rhythm. Oh, he's feeling it right now. And Joe Gallo has to call a timeout.
Well, that's the Lawan Pipkins, who burned Providence when he was a member of the UMass Minutemen. He came to Friartown to deliver, to be the clincher, the closer, and the finisher. Providence rolling up by 23.
Providence Friars have hit 20 of their last 26 shots, and they built a 23-point lead now. Just over 12 minutes left to go.
And a lot of that has to do with that man there you just saw on the right in the huddle. His name is Nate Watson. Fans of the Big East will get used to this. Now, he'll have bigger, stronger players going against him, but he still has the skills to get his position in the post, hold it, spin, turn with that little floater, turnaround jumper, using the glass. He can be a major, major factor for Providence going forward, and really the reason that they have a shot to finish in the top 3, top 4 as they were predicted in the Big East. Missed the first 4 games of the season with a knee injury. It's questionable whether or not he's going to be ready to go tonight. But Ed Cooley told me over the last couple of games, he desperately wanted to get him on the floor for this game before they played Penn, a team that knocked off Alabama, and before they go next week out to California in the Wooden Legacy Tournament, where there's a chance, we'll see, that they could meet Arizona in the final if they're fortunate enough. And then later in the month, when they get in December, you've got a big-time rivalry game against URI down at the Ryan Center. That's not going to be easy at all. And they play Florida in Brooklyn in December. The Gators struggling right now, but by then, they should have their act together.
Look at that. Last field goal at the 15:42 mark. And it seems like every possession is getting a little bit tougher for the Warriors. They have not had an answer for this zone. That won't go. Pipkins down with the rebound. Here comes Providence again. This is how they were hoping to run the offense in the first half. Shot didn't fall, but once again, it was an under-controlled good look. Side of the zone. Oh, ball knocked out of bounds off the hand of Watson. So it'll stay Merrimack's way. They get the ball back when we come back. Providence in charge here at the dunk. Providence in the middle of an 11-0 run. They've hit 10 of 12 shots here in this half. They lead by 23, but even with all of those factors, coach is still going to coach.
I know, hey, let's be smart right here. And it's a lot of game left. We're not slowing down, but we want to play inside out. I want to go to our pinch again, right? Stay aggressive in transition. Stay aggressive defensively. When we get the rebound, we're out. It's jailbreak. Let's go.
You know, in a lot of ways, I would think he would be fun to play for.
Oh, players love him.
Yep.
Absolutely love him. And I will tell you that Ed Cooley is the face of this university. And, you know, being around this program the last couple of weeks, from the donor class to the administrators, they absolutely love this man. You know, there was the flirtation with Michigan in the offseason, able to get a long-term extension here, and he's made this a destination. He's from Providence. You know, there's been a long line of tremendous coaches that have come through here, but this has been a destination. I don't think Ed Cooley goes for another college job.
Probably not.
I think his next act is sit next to you.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, on this side.
Yeah, but I thought you did every game that, you know, that Providence participated in on television.
The run ends tonight.
Well, back down the other way. Timeout and the possession, just to save the possession for Merrimack, down 23.
So Ed Cooley, when you think about the coaches that have come here, Scott, obviously the godfather of Providence basketball, the Big East, the late, great Dave Gavitt. You know, you've had Rick Pitino, Rick Barnes, Pete Gillen, Joe Mulaney. I mean, you know, obviously on this list of the all-time wins. And look at Ed Cooley climbing. And he will get there because I think he's going to be coaching for, you know, is he going to coach another decade here? Maybe. But a consistent winner. I think last year will be a little bit of an anomaly. They had some injuries early. I think they'll be an NCAA tournament team again. which in this program to do that, you know, the facilities are off the charts. We were at their practice facility this afternoon. Billy Donovan donating for the court, and it's state of the art.
That is a beautiful facility.
And look, with UConn coming in next year, the intensity of the rivalry is going to rise up even more. No, it's a good time to be a Providence Friar fan, and the campus right now is blossoming. I mean, they've done a lot of work on the campus, new buildings, enrollment's up. It's a hot school right now.
And after a rough start tonight, they have bounced back to dominate this game.
Well, they needed one of these. They did not play well in the first few minutes of this game for sure.
One-handed rebound for Emmett Holt. And the lead just keeps building now for the Friars. 63-4 in 9 seasons under Ed Cooley in non-conference home games. Well on the way to win number 64 now.
So it's going to be interesting here, Scott, is, you know, does Nate Watson come in? They wanted to manage his minutes.
I'm not sure why you would bring him back, and I can't imagine why Diallo would come back into the ball.
Right, I mean, he wasn't feeling well at all. That wouldn't make sense.
That's a good look in rhythm for Daring, who hit from the outside. He's the guy who's the shooter. He's got a really pretty form.
You can tack on A.J. Reeves as well.
Yep.
I mean, he's just coming off back spasms. Wasn't able to practice for 4 days. And just as I say that,
he hops up off the bench and goes to check in.
Hey, he feels great. Sure, put him back in.
Said, I hear you, Andy, but I'm playing.
That's fine.
From the baseline. And an uncontested rebound for Daring.
Well, you know, if you've got a back issue, you know, you get all sitting down too long. You want to get up. You want to move.
That's why. The 3 players waiting on the side with amounts to a hockey line change coming from Merrimack, and that is way outside for Devin Jensen.
And we've said it earlier. 7 threes against Northwestern. But for some reason, he only took 1 shot against Jacksonville.
It looks like he's in a situation where the offense kind of comes to him. Not that he's creating his own shot, but waiting for that opportunity.
There'll be a problem in the NEC this season.
Oh, yeah.
Good ball movement.
Something they were missing in the first half. And Holt rattles it home.
Just great patience.
Emmett Holt has 11. Now, if you look at the score right now, you're just tuning in, you're saying, well, kind of figured this. You probably didn't figure Providence stuck 12 points twice in that first half.
And we're down big, double figures.
That's good ball movement again. They find the open man again as White buries it.
In rhythm, showing great patience. And it'll be interesting to see how much of the first 10 minutes Ed Cooley and his staff show the team, because they're going to feel good about themselves when they leave tonight. At halftime, even though they'd come back, they were sort of hanging over their head. The first 2 possessions of the second half didn't go well.
There's that high-low against the zone, and Young says, sending it over the end line. In a lot of ways, that has been the entire second half as Providence has been flexing muscle on the way out to a big lead.
Near the top of the Big East.
They'll try to sustain that mindset through the remainder of the non-conference schedule and then into the Big East. Merrimack saw those shots falling early. They have not fallen at all here in the second half. As a team, 5 out of 17 from the floor. And there's more trouble along the inside. If you're trying to stop Watson, he's going back to the free throw line.
Made his free throw in his last attempt. He missed the first couple. You know, everyone, sometimes I get asked, like, why does November matter? Well, it matters a lot of times in games like this that you can't afford to lose these kinds of games. You don't want losses that could end up being in that fourth quadrant on your resume sheet that the selection committee looks at. And, you know, Northwestern as an example, very young team, more than likely going to finish in the bottom 3 of the Big Ten. Certainly not going to be a quad 1 loss, may not be a quad 2 loss, maybe a quad 3 loss. We'll see where Northwestern finishes. And if they were to lose to a team like Merrimack, that's in that far 3-4 grouping as well. You can't have, you know, a couple on that side without being a little bit in the danger zone.
And they saw last year the end of that run of NCAA tournaments. They had been in the Big Dance 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And last year was the NIT. And an early exit to Arkansas.
Coached by Mike Anderson, who's now the head coach of St. John's. So they will see him again twice this season.
That was just a couple of years ago that Providence went right down to the wire with Villanova, a team that went on to win a national championship in the Big East final.
So we were wrong on Nate Watson. He's back on the floor.
Yeah.
But I think we might be right on Alpha Diallo.
Oh, I think we're right there. And Watson said, you're not doing that here. But he did foul him, and Jordan Minor goes to the free throw line with an even 6 minutes left to go. Second foul on Watson.
Well, they're going to be really pleased, both ends of the court. Watson was able to obviously show his physicality here, get a good sweat, make at least the free throw. You know, Joey Gallo thought that Jordan Minor was going to be the one player who could match the physicality of Providence. The tallest player at 6'8".
Just a freshman. Really nice upside for this Merrimack team.
You know, I keep saying Joey Gallo. You know why? Instead of Joe Gallo.
Because you're going to Jerry Gallo
Yes.
from My Cousin Vinny? Is
Yes, yes. It's in my head.
Or Jerry Callow, depending upon what part of the movie you're watching.
A classic.
A classic, indeed.
Yes, it is Joe Gallo.
You know, Marissa Tomei won an Oscar for that.
Yes.
I just veered off into Seinfeld when nobody was looking. Joe Gallo, 3 straight NCAA tournaments at the Division II level. And a terrific ending to their time in D2.
Well, they really feel like they would have been a contender for the national championship at the D2 level had they stayed, but perfectly happy to elevate their program. Gallo telling me that their president, you know, in the last 8 years wants to increase the profile. Enrollment is up from when he was a student there in the mid-2000s. By the way, Nate Watson came off the floor.
That's got to be for the last time, right?
Yes, outstanding effort for him.
No timeout on the floor with 5:33 left to play, and Providence can't quite turn their attention to Saturday's meeting with the Penn Quakers, but they're getting close to this one being done. We said Penn is what's next.
Let's take a look at who they've got coming up here. The Penn game on Saturday. Quakers, they ended up losing to Rice, but I mean, they had that great win against Alabama early in the season. Then starts the Wooden Legacy. They open with Long Beach State, a team they should win. They should beat Wake or College Charleston. And if all that happens, if they reach their potential, that means on December 1st, more than likely, they would take on Arizona in Anaheim. Arizona playing like a top 10 team right now. Great freshmen, Zeke Naji, Nico Mannion, Josh Green. And then circle that game on December 6th. I was down there Friday night for URI, Alabama. The place was rocking for the Ryan Center. 2 years ago when Dan Hurley was coaching them, I saw that game down in Rhode Island when they knocked off Providence. The guards there, Jeff Doughton and Fats Russell. They're going to be hard to handle.
And there's always so much emotion in that game.
I think it's one of the more underrated in-state non-conference rivalries in the country. That one, New Mexico State.
Got it on the rim, and a friendly bounce for the shooter, Jaleel Lord, in the corner. Providence not taking their foot off the gas, and a trip to the free throw line now for Khalif Young.
Well, they should. And Khalif Young, who is not, really hasn't scratched his potential in the first 4 games, has kind of struggled to finish around the basket or really get to the free throw line much. I mean, he needs to produce here because we saw what Nate Watson's doing, and it's only going to be a matter of time, in fact, that maybe the next game that Nate Watson starts and Khalif Young is coming off the bench. So he's got to now earn his keep.
There's Watson. First action of the season. Under his belt tonight. Young last year played in 33 games. 14 of them were starts, so he's done both. Started and come off the bench. One up on 4.5 left to go. They have figured out a way to get better shots against that zone as the game has moved on. Problem for Merrimack is those shots aren't falling.
But they'd hit that shot earlier in the game, so I mean, I don't think they'll be upset that Jaleel Lord jacked that up. As you mentioned, one of those 3 players who played at St. Anthony's.
They get a foul call on the 3-point attempt. That program at St. Anthony has been so good for so long under Bob Hurley.
Pipkins, the distributor, the setup man, getting A.J. Reeves right where he wants him. Reeves came into the game, didn't play this last game. In the first 3 games, he was averaging 7 points a game. Coming into the season, they were hoping he was certainly going to be a double-figure scorer. He's got the attention of a lot of NBA personnel, but certainly has a ways to go before that happens.
Missed 9 games last year with a foot injury.
And, you know, that really derailed their season early because even though he was a freshman, they were counting on him and David Duke.
They came out in the opener. He dropped 29 on Siena. That's not a bad debut. There's a lot of pieces in place for this Providence team, and if it comes together the right way as the season wears on, they're going to be a very tough out in March. Late whistle and a foul call on Pipkins, which means we've got free throws coming on the other side, but certainly a much more relaxed Providence team, a Merrimack team that gave it a fight early tonight. Watching it trail away. It is up to 31 points for Providence with under 4 minutes left to go, and the Friars, no doubt tonight, Andy, have shared the wealth.
Yeah, they've done a great job of doing that and getting that assist to field goal ratio and the production. This is what offensively, for the most part, they need to do. The name that's missing there, of course, is Alpha Diallo.
Who's their leading scorer and rebounder.
Not feeling great, had a fever earlier today. If Alpha Diallo can be in that mix and be double figures, and they would have 6 players in double figures, that's a great night for Providence.
Coming into the night tonight in Big East, and again, you're talking about 5 games, there's no conference play yet. Ed Cooley's team led the league in assists per game, so sharing the basketball is something that this team has done very well already through the first 5 games.
Well, not too many teams have 2 senior guards that play at the top of their defense, and at times going to have 2 ball handlers on the floor like that in Malik White and Luan Pipkins. And that will serve them well if they get pressured in late game situations. And you know, we talked to Malik White when we were at Northwestern last week about coming in as a freshman. You got all this hype, and you think you're going to be a starter. It doesn't happen. But he embraced the role of being a finisher. As Ed Cooley said, you have to make sure you're the player on the court at the end. That's what matters more.
Pretty sure there's some food riding on this free throw.
Yes, it's a Chick-fil-A special. Missed 2 in a row.
You see right there, the foul shot.
Yes, the official even knew it. I don't know if he gets in on it, too. Free chicken sandwich.
This crowd is going nuts. Are we allowed to show our press pass and do that? No?
I don't
No. Yeah, I mean,
There
they
it
were ready
is.
for it.
You know, look, there's been this phenomenon on the chicken sandwich lately. People are craving it, they're cheering it. Or maybe just people love just getting the free food.
I think free food
Yes.
generally gets a pretty big roar no matter where you are.
Especially when it's a 31-point game.
And especially when it's a bunch of college kids who probably, you know, anything that's free in the food department, good news.
Yes.
Malik White will come back out of the ball game. 45-18, the differential for the Friars here in the second half.
Well, you know, we've got the camera once a half in the huddle. It would have been pretty good if we were in the locker room because clearly they responded to Ed Cooley and the staff at halftime.
Once again, that length and those quick hands have been a problem all night, especially when Providence is set back in that zone. On the other side, the middle of the zone that way, there's just nothing Merrimack can do.
And for whatever reason, if you remember the first 10 minutes, they were ignoring that. They had the size advantage. The light switch went on.
Off the rebound. Fresh 20. Under 3 left to play. He's got a pure-looking shot. Once again, he hadn't hit as many in the early part of the year, Michael Daring, but he has got a pure shot from that wing.
So Luan Pipkins had great success against Providence when he was at UMass. So you know what? If you can beat them sometimes, and they did, why not join them? And that's exactly what he did, coming here as a grad transfer, burying shots, being that point man at the top of that pressure defense and finishing at the other end. Right in transition, burying the three-point shot. You know, I asked Ed Cooley, how do you build trust with someone who you just basically pick up almost like a free agent in the summer? And he said when he practiced with the team that he was coaching the Pan Am Games, that's where it started. He did not end up going to Peru because he was hurt, but just being in those practices on campus in July, that's where the bond began, just with Ed Cooley and the staff. Alfred Diallo, David Duke, A.J. Reeves, Nate Watson. That was critical. The fact that he was here and playing with the team. Because trust is a huge factor, especially when you're a lead guard. You got to be able to trust that player.
There's always been a lot of talk about grad transfers and other coaches who say, you know what, I put all of my time into developing this player for X number of years, and now as a graduate student, he can transfer and just go somewhere else. So there's kind of two sides to that coin. But when you're on the receiving end of a player who's going to be able to help him the way Pipkins is, you got to be a pretty happy man. Contact in the lane, and Andrew Fonts is going to go to the free throw line with 1:42 left to go.
The pride of Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Another Portsmouth player in the Big East, Cole Swider. You know him well, down at Villanova.
Yep. He's gotten off to a good start this year in his sophomore season.
Another familiar name in Northeast College basketball, Tommy Dempsey.
Yep.
Father, head coach at the same coach in Binghamton. Am I right?
It's still Binghamton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mean to quiz you here.
Well, no. You know what? You get those moments every once in a while now that you're in your 50s where it's there. It's in your brain.
I wanted to make sure I was saying the right school.
Well, it doesn't come out of your mouth.
Yes. I knew it was Binghamton. I just want to make sure I have the right one as I'm quizzing you.
Two old guys chatting courtside.
Well, this turned out well for Providence. They were able to rest the guys that weren't feeling well.
It turned out pretty well for
Yes.
Young. First made 3 of the year for him. With under a minute to go. Putting the finishing touches in the bow on a big win at home.
So Providence is going to get out of the first 5 games 4-1. They thought they'd be 5-0. Very disappointed at the loss at Northwestern. See if they can make up for that. Do well against Penn and maybe out in the Wooden Legacy.
And for Merrimack, they can still hang their hats on their first big D1 triumph, a win on the road at Northwestern.
Oh! Did he call glass?
I don't think he cares. I don't think they care.
These guys work hard. Scout team in practice. Tremendous to get rewarded here in the final seconds.
And that will be the final shot of the game as Providence finishes it off. Despite trailing by 12 in the first half, they come roaring back to a dominant win.
A great second half by Providence. Nate Watson. Get ready, Big East. He's coming for you.
Final score, 93-56. Providence on top. For Andy Katz, our entire crew, I'm Scott Graham saying so